And we continue learning Dirshu Mishnah Berurah. We once again begin a new Siman in Hilchos Tefillah, Siman Tzadi. The Siman that the Mechaber coins, Makom Harayu Le'Ispalel, the place, the location that is fitting to daven, Ule'Ispalel Matzibur, davening with a tzibur, davening with a minyan, V'din Ha'oilech Ba'derech, and going in the road. So a loaded Siman, 27 Seifim. And let's get started. Says the Mechaber HaMisbar Lo Yamid Al Gabi Amita V'Lo Gabi Akisei V'Lo Gabi Asasol. When you're davening, you shouldn't be on a bed, you shouldn't be on a bench, you shouldn't be standing on a chair. Says the Ramah, Afilin and Gavay and Gimel, even if they're not very tall, they're not even 3 Tvachim tall, still it's not the right place to be standing when you are davening. V'Lo Gabi Makom Gavay, not in a high place. Elim came a Yazakin a Chayla, unless one is elderly or one is sick, then there is more leniency. So we continue over here and we move down to the Mishnah Berurah. Just trying to get everyone that we could see what's going on over here. Here we go. Says the Mishnah Berurah, Sivkat and Aleph, Va'afilu, even if it's not 3 Tavachim tall. What's the reason you shouldn't daven in such a place? If you're standing on a bench, a chair, or a bed, you are preoccupied, and you're afraid. Shema yipol, maybe I'm going to fall, and therefore lo yuchal lekavin mitzvah. And this is going to be a rule that's going to keep on occurring and reoccurring itself. That you're not allowed to daven in a place that aids in negative kavana. You're preoccupied. Well, if he's at, according to this, says the Mishnah Berurah, that which we said it's allowed by an elderly or a sick person. What's the reason? You can't be in a place that you're scared. The reason we're makel for the elderly, for the sick, they weren't being the Chazal were more lenient in whichever scenario that elderly person could daven. However, or in a place where he is not afraid. Even if it's in a gavai gimel, it's not to be tvachim tall. If it's not to be tvachim tall, a very low platform, the bach and the taz are mekel. Well, Yerabba boizik shulchan aruch. V'loy al gavi sevkat and gimel, not somewhere high. If you in gavas of nea makim, shenamri mamakim karasich Hashem, you daven from the depths. It's not appropriate to go stand on the top of the mountain. I shouldn't say the top of the mountain. To stand in a high place to daven mimamakim, we daven from the depths. But Sivkat and Dalit continues to Mishnah Berurah of one. It says Zakin Achayla Sheikasha Leirid Mi Alamita. So now we're understanding where this heter comes from. It's difficult for him to get off the bed. He's elderly. He's sick. Then it's allowed Lashmiel Letzibur Sivkat and Hey Demutlo Lamed Al Gabi Makum Gavaya. He's allowed to stand in the taller place. Afilo Gabi Kisa Yivsafsel Ve'im Zem Misham Gavus. Why? Because he's doing it just so that the tzibur can hear him. He's afraid. Even if you're doing it, you have an elderly chazin, and you want him to be in a high place, everyone could hear him, but if he's going to be afraid, it is forbidden. Says the Magen Avraham that the place that the shots, the place that the Sheikh Sibur stands from, is deeper, is lower. Why? Why is it called Yairi, to go down Lifnei HaTeva? Because the proper way, says the Magen Avraham, and there are many shuls that indeed do such, that the place where the Chazan stands is a lower place. Just to go up over here to see some Dirshus very quickly. So the Dirshu number 1 points out that it just said that we're just afraid you're going to fall. It didn't give you an exact precise height. And the Teres Chaim says, Mistaver, if it's Begoiva Tefach in Chshash, if it's a teeny little platform, no one's afraid they're going to fall. It's in an area that you have to be afraid they're going to fall. And number 2, Dirshu continues that for the 2 reasons that we quoted, that you're not allowed to stand, Adavar HaMugva Mekarka, something higher. And another reason, as we're going to see in Siman Sadi Ches, is you also want to be standing on the ground. And finally, number 3 over here, the Beis Yosef says another reason why it's yoyred. You go down the Vnei Ateva, says B'Shem Mari ben Chaviv, sheyarim mimakayimai lelechas lateva. You're leaving your place to go daven for the Amud. And we continue over here with Sif Beis. Says the Mechaber Shir Makom Gavay Sha'amru Shleisha Tfachim Haya Gavay Shleisha Veishba Arba Amos Al Arba Amos. But says the Mechaber, let's say it is 3 Tvachim tall, but it's a big box. It's 4 Amos by 4 Amos. Hareu Ka'aliyas Aliyah. It's like an elevated platform. And of course, because we've already seen the reasoning, this makes a lot of sense. If you're on a stage, it might be tall, but it's very large. There's no fear you're going to fall. Similarly, if it's surrounded by fences, it's its own area. Therefore, the fact that it's very high is not recognizable. We continue with the Mishnah Berurah over here. Sivkat involved makom gaveya. Pirush afilu im ir ara samichta. If it's flat ground, but it goes up, you're not allowed to daven there. Less than that, it's not a problem. But if it's mukam mechitza, sivkat and zayin, says the Mishnah Berurah, let's say you're in the middle of building a shul, so you have the platform, and they didn't put up the fence, they didn't put up the walls around it. Push it to also l'spal allow. However, the shul attendant, the gabbai, he stands there b'kviyas l'tzarcha beis knesses near a dim mutter. Similar to an uman, similar to someone dealing with his craft, Sif Gimel, as we're going to see right now. And we go straight into Sif Gimel, says the Mechaber, Ha'umanim, a craftsman. Someone does work, and his place of work is on top of a tree, etc. Says the Mechaber, he's allowed to daven on such an area. There's no issue standing in a tall place. Why? Since he's there doing his work, it's like it's its own elevated platform. But other types of trees you have to go down. There are not as many branches, and it's not as easy to stand. As the Mechaber now explains, why is the olive tree different than others? Anyone who, when we learned Gemara and Brachos, we saw these dinim that has lots of branches, and it's difficult to get up and down. The lack of bittul yerdu. So I said it a little bit off. Yes, it's because there's a lot of branches, but not just because then it's easy to stand. But then it makes it difficult to climb up and climb down. You're going to be mavatal mimalacha. But other trees, that is not such a big deal. You should go up and down. The Balabayis himself, why? Let's say someone is just pruning a tree. He's not a worker. He just goes up to a tree to prune it. Then he has to come down because he's in his own rishos. It was a special heter that was invented for the workers. So they're not batal b'melacha, but that will not create a leniency for the balabayis. And we're going to stop it over here. We'll pick it up from Sif Dalet in the next year. B'siyata Dishmaya.